Hey guys, today we're going to look at lesson 4.2, linear functions, and we're going to start with task 1. So if you think about linear functions, you think about linear means a line, and a function is going to pass the vertical line test. So if you remember from looking at definitions, and definitions are so important in math because math is almost like a foreign language. You have to learn the terminology to understand what the questions are asking. And if you know the terminology, then it's not nearly as difficult. So a linear function, we're going to be talking about lines that pass the vertical line test. All right, so analyze linear functions. A linear function is a relation that can be written in the form f of x equals mx plus b. Remember in the last section we did talk about function notation. So this is just the same as y equals mx plus b, where x is the independent variable and m and b are real numbers. All right, so m and b are real numbers. Okay, so m and b are real numbers. All right, so the general form of a linear function, replace f of x with y and then rewrite the equation so that both variables are on the same side. All right, so the first thing we want to do, you can see they solved for b. So think back to the section where we did formulas and we were solving for literal equations. So it says let y, we're going to substitute y in for f of x because those are interchangeable, and mx plus b. So if we subtract mx from both sides, then we get b by itself. So b equals negative mx, and we already had a y. There's no sign there. That means it was positive. All right, so for 1a, we solve for b, so we need negative mx plus y, negative mx plus y equals b. All right, the equation negative mx plus y equals b is written in standard form. Okay, so you remember before we were looking at x and y intercepts and we were looking at standard form. So ax plus by equals c. That was our general formula for standard form. And we did look at that already. All right, where a, b, and c are real numbers. So again, our x and y are on the same side of the equation, which is what we did here. Okay, so what we did was rearrange it to where x and y are on the same side of the equation. So it says this equation can be written in the form with a equal to what? So a is the number in front of x, so it'd be negative m. And then b is the number in front of y. When there's no y there, you assume it to be a 1, so b will be 1. And c is the number on the end. In this case, it's going to be b, which is just the variable they're using for this example. Okay? All right, so again, this is in the same form as this standard form. It's just written with different variables, but with x and y being on the same side of the equation, here x and y are on the same side of the equation, that makes that in standard form. All right, so the equation for a linear function can be rewritten in standard form of a linear equation. Complete the following statement. The shape of the graph of a linear function is a line. Okay, so it's always going to be a line. Linear equals line. A general linear function has the form f of x equals mx plus b. Complete the statement below about a special case. When m equals 0, a linear function has the form f of x equals what? All right, so if your equation is f of x equals mx plus b, and we're going to substitute 0 in for m, that's right here. We're going to have 0 times x plus b. 0 times anything is just 0, so that goes away, and that means f of x is equal to b. So right here, we're going to put b. Okay, so that means it has no slope. If ilm is 0, this line has no slope. All right, complete the following statement about a linear function with ilm equals 0 and b equals 4. All right, again, we're going to say the equation of f of x equals 4, because there's no slope, that just means it equals 4. For any x value, the corresponding y value is 4, because there's no slope, so it's going to be 4 every single time. All right, so complete the statement about the graph of the function f of x equals 0x plus 4. The graph of f of x equals 4 is a horizontal line, and it goes through the y-axis at 4. So if you want to know what that looks like, it's going to be sketched. If you go 1, 2, 3, 4, so that is y equals 4. And y equals 4 is another name of, or another name to f of x equals 4. So if this is your x and this is your y, of course I didn't put all the points on there, I just went up 1, 2, 3, 4. That shows you that that is a horizontal line that goes through y-axis. And that's how we got that equation here. All right, a linear function with ilm equals 0 can be written as f of x equals b and pairs every x value with a b constant, with constant b. This type of linear function is called a constant function. Again, that's important to know. A constant is just a number, and a constant function is going to give you a horizontal line. Okay? All right, so complete the equation of the constant linear function shown in the graph. So if we look at the graph, we go from 0, 1, 2, 3. This is 3 all the way across here. There's no slope, so it's just f of x equals 3. All right, for any function of the form f of x equals mx plus b, you can see that f of 0 equals b and f of 1 equals m plus b. It follows that the point 0b, okay, on the graph here, 0b, and 1m plus b are on the graph of the linear function. So 0b, that's going to be your y-intercept. And then we pick another point 1, and that's going to be the slope plus the y-intercept. So you start at the y-intercept, you add the slope to get to the next point. All right, so the value of b is the y-intercept of the graph of f of x equals mx plus b. So you already know that the slope of a line is the ratio of the change in y to the change in x. Okay, just a little refresher here. We learned this the other day. So m equals your change in y over your change in x. Okay, so that was our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That was the slope we learned the other day. Slope equation we learned the other day. All right, so using these 2 points here, we're going to have 0b, and we have 1 and m plus b. All right, so let's see what it says. It says complete the following to find the slope of the line y equals mx plus b using the points shown on the graph. Okay, these are the points I just pulled off of the graph. All right, it says the slope equals m plus b. Okay, so remember it's y. This is my x and y from my first point. This is my x and my y from my second point. And we're going to have m plus b minus y1 over x minus x1, or x2 minus x1. All right, so that's going to be the slope. So we're going to have our b's are going to cancel. Let's first put in the numbers here, what they want. Okay, so the slope is m plus b minus what? So it's m plus b minus b. Minus is already part of the equation, so I'm just going to put a b here. So this one question mark tells me that that's what I input from there. And then the two question marks tells me I'm putting the number from the bottom. So the number from the bottom is 1 minus 0. So this is going to be 1. And then written in simplified form, that's the 3 question marks right here. So if I cancel the b's, a plus and a minus b give me 0. I'm just going to be left with m over 1, because 1 minus 0, which is just equal to m. And that's how we get that slope equals m. All right, that is task 1. If you have any questions, please let me know.